of the Maggid. And now I'm going to tell you another story that I heard from a friend of mine whose name is Nachum Shapiro, and he lives in a place called Sydney, Australia. He's a little bit older than me, but we knew each other by face. I was one of the kids, and he was an older boy in 770. And then he got married, and he moved to Sydney, Australia on Shlichut, where he continues to live today with his family. Several years ago, it was the Rebbe's Hilula, the Rebbe's Yartzeit Gimel Tammuz. And I was in New York. We had a group of people. Whatever, I was there. It was a Gimel Tammuz. I was at the Ohel the whole day. And in the evening, there was a Farbrengen in the big hall of the local girls' school called Beis Rivka. So I went to the Farbrengen. And a few of us sat down, a few of my colleagues, we sat down around the table to Fabreng a little. And I happened to be sitting next to this fellow Nachum Shapiro. And one of us told a story, and somebody else told a story, and a third one told a story. We were all approximately, within 10 or 15 years of each other. Everybody knew each other from school or from 770, and we're all exchanging stories. And Nachum tells the following story. Maybe one day I'll share with you. There's a lot of interesting things that happened at Little Farbrengen, but this is a story I want to share with you because it's fire related. So Nachum tells a story that in 1993, in the summer, it was summer in Australia, was winter in this side of the equator, and there was a brush fire that was burning out of control, and it was very serious. So even though we have today a whole technology and we can fight fires, but a brush fire is not a joke. We've seen them in California. We had it in the out west. Here in Canada, brush fire is a very serious thing, and destroys people's homes. Millions and millions of billions of dollars could be lost. Very serious things. So there's this brush fire in the area outside Sydney, and many, many, many thousands of acres of forest and farmland were lost, and the fire was burning out of control. The firefighters could not bring it under control, and it was heading in the direction of this neighborhood where my friend Rabbi Shapiro lives. And he said he was mamash flipping his lid. He was going crazy. He didn't know what to do. So he called the Rebbe's office. Now the Rebbe was already after the stroke, and it was at night. It was the middle of the night. And the phone rang outside the Rebbe's study, which was called Gan Eden HaElyon. We call it in the hallway, in the foyer, called Gan Eden HaTacht, and the phone rang. And a man answers the phone. The man is not one of the Rebbe's secretaries. His name is Yingi or Avram Bistritsky. And he says this is the only time he ever answered that phone. The only time he ever answered that phone. He was a member of Hatzalah. He has medical training. And he was there as like a nurse. He was doing a night shift. It was after the Rebbe had the stroke. So Rabbi Shapiro is frantic. And he says, there's a fire burning out of control. Please ask the Rebbe for a bracha. We have our shul here, our Chabad center, my home, people's homes. He says, it's nothing we can do. We're like mamash sitting ducks. He says, within a half hour, we're literally going to have to evacuate our houses, and once we leave here, we're probably coming back to ashes. So Avram Bistritsky says, look, I'm just a Hatzalah guy. I'm a nurse here. I'm not one of the Rebbe's secretaries. And Rabbi Shapiro starts to cry. He says, please, I'm begging you, please ask the Rebbe for a bracha. Ask the Rebbe for a bracha. So he says the only time he did this, says Avram Bistritsky, he went into the Rebbe's room, and he tells the Rebbe that Nachum Shapiro was on the phone from Sydney, and he says such and such is happening, and the fire is heading there, and they're asking for a bracha. And he says, Yingi Bistritsky says, the Rebbe listens very carefully. The Rebbe listens. The Rebbe was very ill. That was after the stroke. He didn't have very much mobility. And with his left hand, I believe the Rebbe had some mobility, with his left hand, the Rebbe went like this. A number of times, moved the hand over, I don't know if it was a blanket or a chair that Rebbe was sitting there, but the Rebbe moved his hand a bunch of times. And he came out to Gan Eden Tachten, and he gets on the phone. He says, listen, I just want you to know, you asked, so I told the Rebbe what you said, and the Rebbe can't respond. The Rebbe moved his hand a bunch of times. Rabbi Shapiro told me that literally, in front of his eyes, he saw the fire suddenly start to blow in a different direction. away from the residences, away from where he was living. And he says, people want to call it a coincidence. He says to him, this is mamash, an open miracle that tzaddikim have abilities that we can't understand. And he said the Rebbe just moved the fire. I don't know how he was sitting in his office and over there moving. That's what happened. And the fire went away, and his house was saved, his Chabad house was saved, the shul was saved. Until today, it still functions in a very vibrant way. And I was thinking, and I want to leave you with this thought.